Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Our beautiful guest today is Khalise White, author, motivational speaker, and founder of Help Heal Nations, a trauma recovery community creating safe space for people healing from incarceration, abuse, grief, identity loss, and emotional pain. After spending more than a decade incarcerated, beginning at a young age, Khalise returned home with a roadmap and rebuilt her life through faith, discipline, and deep self-reflection. Today, she's a two-time published author and a voice for restoration and chances. This conversation is about silence, identity, healing, accountability, and what it truly means to rebuild when life has taken you off course. Khalise, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, yeah, am I pronouncing your name correctly, Khalise?
Yes, you are correct. It's Khalise.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about, silence and identity. Your book is titled No Longer Silenced. What does silence do to a person over time?
So, actually, my book, No Longer Silence, is the sequel to my first book, You
Okay.
Left Me, God Bless Me.
Mm,
And No Longer Silence is tied to, it represents a turning point in my life. Growing up, I was taught that what happens in the house stays in the house.
mm,
The mindset followed me into my teenage years and adulthood, causing me to keep everything inside of me, my losses, my trauma. For years, I didn't talk about what happened to me. I carried it silently. And
mm.
now that I'm in a different place, I found my voice and I use it not for healing, but to help others heal too. So this particular book, this one right here, is the declaration that I no longer hide my story. I speak now, and that freedom has changed my life. That now that I speak.
All right. Wow. That sounds amazing, actually.
Thank you.
So, yeah, talking about this whole burying of pain down, many young adults, they actually bury pain to stay strong. What do you think is the cost of that, actually?
Um, I believe that, you know, how should I say it where I'm not? Well, everything, like it really starts from, like, to me, with faith.
Yeah.
I believe that faith is everything. Because
Mm,
without faith, you don't have much to stand on. And when life gets hard, I've learned that faith is a mindset. It's choosing to
mm,
believe even when things don't make sense. It's
mm.
staying consistent in prayer, reflection, and trust. I'm still growing, but I now understand faith more than I have. It fuels my purpose and it reminds me that I was never meant to walk this journey alone. So,
Mm. Wow. That's an interesting take, actually, never meant to walk this journey alone. All right. So yeah,
yes.
talking about incarceration, accountability, and rebuilding, after more than a decade incarcerated, what was the hardest mental shift when you came home?
So,
Mm,
my incarceration, it was like the most hardest thing I would say is, how should I say it? So, my incarceration, it humbled me in every sense of the word.
mm,
It actually taught me how to be still, something I never knew how to do. I was always moving, always reacting, never reflecting. And that was also where my real spiritual transformation began. I
mm,
started seeking God in a deeper way, learning how to pray, fast, and even when I didn't fully understand what I was doing, it forced me to confront my faith, my
mm,
questions, and my anger. I had a lot of why moments, and I often like felt distant from God because of them. But now I
Mm.
understand that faith isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Even when life is painful, you just keep believing, you keep praying, you keep moving forward. The mindset is what sharpened me into the woman and leader I am today, is mindset. Very, very important.
Right. Wow. Okay, so talking about, mindset and all, I was going to ask you, how did you rebuild your mindset? What are the steps you took to, rebuild that mindset?
So, again, like it's just all in how, you know, by me having to be silent for so long, I should say.
Yeah.
See, many people feel silenced by their trauma or shame, and what I say to them is, I open up now. So it helps. The first thing I tell people is find some form of spiritual grounding. And I don't know how to judge how someone connects spiritually. I don't judge,
Yeah.
but I believe that everyone needs something that keeps them centered, because trauma doesn't disappear overnight. But when you
Mm.
develop a spiritual and emotional foundation, you begin to release the shame. Healing comes in many forms. And for me, it was speaking, writing, praying, or reflecting. So what's important is that trauma is dealt with in a healthy way, not through substance, not through avoidance, but through intentionally healing. You deserve peace, not just survival. Peace is everything, is what a lot of people don't know. And that's what I had to learn. I was all over the place.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so you know, at the beginning, while you were talking, you said that you can't walk life alone, right? So can you tell me why it's actually essential? Like, why is the community essential in trauma recovery?
I would say because of, that's like a powerful, powerful, powerful moment. And even you asked in certain things, which is good because, again, like I said, I'm still in transformation.
Yeah.
I would say it is finding the courage to speak honestly,
Mhm.
openly. And that has been the most powerful part of my healing, whether it's
Yeah.
through my books, my conversations, or interviews. I speak my truth, not theory, not option, but real life. And every time I do, it heals me and empowers others.
Right. Wow. Okay. So, why did you create Help Heal Nations, actually?
I created Help Heal Nations because I've always envisioned myself standing on stages, sharing my
Mm.
story with people across the world. I knew my healing wasn't meant to stop with just me. That's how Help Heal Nations was even born. I don't just want to heal myself or people in my hometown.
Yeah.
I want to help heal nations wherever I go. I want to bring hope, faith, and transformation. And I know that's what my calling is. So that's
Mm.
where it came from.
Okay, wow, that's amazing actually. So yeah, if you could speak to your younger self before, incarceration and all, what advice would you have given to yourself?
If I could speak to my younger self,
Yeah.
hmm, what I would do speaking to my younger self is listening and learn how to be still.
Mm.
And because when you learn how to listen, if you open up your ears and you listen and you get peace out of that, and peace helps you think, peace helps you make better decisions, not being still and not listening. You can't, what are you learning? You're going to constantly keep making the same mistakes over and over again because you don't have an ear to nothing. You're just going, 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 not knowing how to be still. So my younger self, I definitely would say, I would tell myself right now, listen, be still, be more humble, and find peace within yourself. You can't be all over the place. get somewhere and be still.
Wow, be still. You know, I felt like you spoke to me directly actually because I don't know how to control myself, right? And when you say
Yeah.
be still, it just makes so much sense because when I am still, I think properly. And there's just this inner peace that comes with being still, right? So yeah, thank you so much for that. That was amazing, actually. And yeah,
Oh,
so
oh.
finally, I have this segment. It's called the rapid fire segment, right? Where I say out something and then you pick which one you prefer, right? So starting
Mhm.
now, would you prefer shame or grace?
Can you say that one more time? I gotta really, get that in my thought process. Let me see. I
Okay,
like to
so
feel things more.
all right, so shame or grace?
Shame or
Yes, grace.
grace? I'm
Mm,
sorry, shame or grace? Well, without shame, how do you even get
mm,
to grace?
that's true. Wow. Okay, that's amazing actually. And yeah, silence
Yeah,
or
I believe that being shame helps you get to that point to be grace,
mm,
to pick grace, to be graceful. That's where I believe it come from. You have to be the went through something to get that. Because you're
mm,
not just going to wake up one day in your childhood or your adulthood and have
mm.
grace and be graceful. I don't think that's where it comes from. So that's what I believe.
Oh, it's wow. Okay, so yeah, moving on, right? Silence or truth?
You said silence or truth. Mm,
Yes.
I would say I would say silence first.
Mm,
Because again, that goes back to what I said before. When you learn how to be still, when you listen, that gives you peace.
mm,
So
yeah,
you gotta be silent. And then once you silent, you can get your thoughts together, your
mm.
mind, your body, and your soul connect, and then you can tell the truth.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much for this, actually. And yeah, where can listeners get to know more about you and what you do?
So what I do is, um, this is actually how I start my morning, like what I
Okay.
do. So, and it all starts with like healing and like you said, like I said, why I would choose silence because it helps you be still and
Mm,
grace and all of that comes in because it all starts with healing. It's all a process. It works together as one. It's
mm,
like a concoction, all these different type of things, all these different type of emotions that you put together. So for me, healing for me begins every morning. Instead of me grabbing my phone, I start my day off with gratitude. I
mm,
thank God for my life, my health, my mind, my stability, everything that everything that practice that grounds me. I'm sorry, I can even talk, grounds me into emotionally and
yeah,
mentally.
yeah,
It reminds me that God is involved in my day before any if that God is involved in my day, anything else that enters my mind. Spiritually,
yeah,
I read scriptures, I listen to affirmations, or I watch faith-based teachings. That gives me strength before I face the world. So healing isn't about feeling,
mm,
perfect. It's about choosing to push through. Even on hard days, I strive to be better than I was yesterday, last year, or 10 years ago. And when people see my transformation, I want them to believe that if I can change, so they can too. Anybody can.
yeah.
Because
Okay,
it's not
wow.
overnight thing. It's time. Time is months. Time is years. It happens.
Mm,
It's either gonna be you either
wow.
gonna change for
Okay,
positive or
it's
negative.
mm, okay, wow. Thank you. This has been inspiring, and you're making us understand now that change isn't just something that happens immediately, right? Change takes time, but
That
the
is
facts
correct.
and the
It
goal
definitely.
remains that we're changing. Yeah. So wow, thank you for that actually. And yeah, before we wrap up, where can my audience read your book and connect with your support community?
So I have a community. It's called Help Heal Nations. So like on that Help Heal Nations website, my first book is You Left Me, God Bless Me. And then the second
Hmm.
book, which is that's the sequel to my first book, which is No Longer Silenced. And like so like in the first book, I'm just basically kind of like giving you everything like right now, like the last couple of years, and where I'm growing and I'm still growing and where I was. And then the sequel, No Longer Silence, it goes back to childhood, all the childhood traumas and everything. And then it comes back and highlight now. So those books are on, like I said, it's www.helphealnations.com. So when you get
Hmm.
on there, it'll show you that I'm on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and it gives you like all my information. I'm a motivational speaker, all in that community. I do all of those things. I offer services like for, I advocate to people and groups and people one-on-one. So all of those services and everything that I do is on their website as well.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for this episode. It has been
Thank you.
amazing and groundful. And yeah, to my listeners, thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this. And also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episode. Thank you, Khalise. And this has been wonderful. And
And thank you for having me. Oh, it was so good. It was good. Thank you. I greatly appreciate you and your time.
oh, thank you so much for that, actually. And yeah, do have a wonderful day ahead of you.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.